The Crusades and the development of European military technology. The Crusades, 1096 to 1291, played a pivotal role in shaping the development of European military technology. These campaigns brought European armies into direct contact with the more advanced military strategies, engineering, and weaponry of the Byzantine and Islamic worlds. The resulting exchange of ideas, combined with the unique challenges of crusading warfare, drove innovation and adaptation that profoundly influenced the evolution of European military practices. 1. Siege warfare, the crucible of technological innovation. The Crusades were characterized by prolonged sieges of heavily fortified cities and castles, necessitating advances in siegecraft and defensive technology. Fortification design. Exposure to Byzantine and Islamic fortresses. European crusaders encountered sophisticated fortifications in the Levant, such as the massive walls of Antioch and Jerusalem. Adaptation and advancement. The Crusaders adopted and refined elements of these designs, leading to the development of concentric castles in Europe with multiple layers of defense. Notable examples include Croc de Chevaliers and Montfort Castle. Siege engines. Trebuchets. Crusaders learned to construct and deploy counterweight trebuchets, a significant improvement over earlier torsion-based catapults. These machines were capable of hurling massive projectiles with precision and power. Battering rams and siege towers. Contact with Muslim engineers inspired the Crusaders to enhance their own siege equipment, incorporating features such as reinforced towers and movable shelters. Mining and countermining. Undermining walls. The Crusades saw the refinement of techniques to undermine enemy walls by tunneling beneath them, a tactic frequently used during the Siege of Jerusalem, 1099, and the Siege of Acre, 1291. Defensive countermeasures. Muslim defenders developed methods to detect and counter mines, forcing Crusaders to innovate further. 2. Naval technology and maritime strategy. Naval operations were critical to the success of the Crusades, particularly in transporting troops and supplies across the Mediterranean and securing coastal strongholds. Ship design. Galleys and transports. The Crusades spurred advances in ship design, including larger transport ships capable of carrying knights, horses, and siege equipment. Naval innovations. Crusader fleets, particularly those of the Italian maritime republics like Venice and Genoa, incorporated features such as improved hull designs and lateen sails for greater maneuverability. Naval warfare. Blockades. The Crusaders pioneered the use of naval blockades to cut off supplies and isolate enemy fortifications, as seen during the Siege of Acre. Shipborne siege engines. Crusaders mounted trebuchets and other siege engines on ships, allowing them to attack coastal cities from the sea. Impact on trade. The need for robust naval logistics during the Crusades also strengthened European maritime commerce, laying the groundwork for the Age of Exploration. 3. Infantry and cavalry. Evolution in tactics and weaponry. The Crusades transformed European tactics, weapons, and the role of both infantry and cavalry on the battlefield. Cavalry. The dominance of the knight. Heavy cavalry tactics. European knights refined their use of the couched lance, charging in tightly packed formations to devastating effect. Adaptation to Eastern tactics. Exposure to the highly mobile horse archers of the Seljuk Turks and other Islamic forces forced knights to adopt more flexible strategies, including the use of combined arms. Infantry. Increased importance. Crossbows. The Crusades popularized the use of crossbows, which were particularly effective against heavily armored opponents. The Genoese crossbowmen became famous for their precision and effectiveness. Polearms and shields. Infantry units adopted larger shields and polearms like pikes and halberds to counter cavalry charges and protect archers. Combined arms tactics. Coordination between units. The Crusades encouraged the integration of infantry, cavalry, and siege engines into cohesive battlefield strategies, a precursor to more modern military organization. 4. Weaponry and armor. The exchange of technology during the Crusades significantly influenced European weapons and armor design. Weapons. Damascene steel. Crusaders encountered high-quality Damascus steel swords and blades, which inspired European blacksmiths to experiment with better steel production techniques. Incendiary weapons. The use of Greek fire by the Byzantines and similar incendiary devices by Islamic forces introduced Crusaders to early forms of chemical warfare. Armor. Mail and plate hybridization. The Crusades drove the development of hybrid armor combining chainmail with plate reinforcement, offering better protection against both projectiles and melee weapons. Helmets. The Great Helm, a fully enclosed helmet, became popular among Crusaders seeking improved facial protection. 5. Defensive engineering, castles and cities. The Crusades influenced the construction and design of fortifications in both Europe and the Middle East. Concentric castles. Multiple lines of defense. Inspired by Islamic and Byzantine fortresses, concentric castles featured multiple layers of walls, with inner walls higher than outer ones to provide overlapping fields of fire. Water defenses. Moats and water-filled ditches became common features, as seen in the castles of the Teutonic Knights in Eastern Europe. Urban fortifications. Walled cities. Crusaders enhanced their knowledge of urban fortifications, including the use of bastions, curtain walls, and fortified gates. Civic defense. European cities adopted elements of Crusader fortification designs to protect against both foreign invasions and internal rebellions. 6. The role of military orders in technology development. The military orders, such as the Knights Templar, Knights Hospitaller, and Teutonic Knights, played a key role in advancing military technology during the Crusades. 5. Defensive engineering, castles and cities. The Crusades influenced the construction and design of fortifications in both Europe and the Middle East. Concentric castles. Multiple lines of defense. Inspired by Islamic and Byzantine fortresses, concentric castles featured multiple layers of walls, with inner walls higher than outer ones to provide overlapping fields of fire. Water defenses. Moats and water-filled ditches became common features, as seen in the castles of the Teutonic Knights in Eastern Europe. Urban fortifications. Walled cities. Crusaders enhanced their knowledge of urban fortifications, including the use of bastions, curtain walls, and fortified gates. Civic defense. European cities adopted elements of Crusader fortification designs to protect against both foreign invasions and internal rebellions. 6. The role of military orders in technology development. The military orders, such as the Knights Templar, Knights Hospitaller, and Teutonic Knights, played a key role in advancing military technology during the Crusades. Training and standardization. Professionalization of warfare. These orders maintained permanent forces, leading to standardized training in weapons and tactics. Engineering expertise. The orders employed skilled engineers to construct castles, siege engines, and naval fleets, creating centers of innovation. Knowledge exchange. Cross-cultural learning. The orders acted as intermediaries between the Islamic and Christian worlds, facilitating the transfer of military knowledge and techniques. Preservation of knowledge. They documented their experiences, contributing to the broader dissemination of military technology in Europe. 7. Psychological and chemical warfare. The Crusades introduced elements of psychological and chemical warfare to European armies. Psychological warfare. Intimidation tactics. Both Crusaders and Islamic forces used displays of power, such as the mass execution of prisoners or the display of severed heads, to demoralize enemies. Religious symbolism. The Crusaders' use of the cross and religious relics to inspire troops also served to intimidate their opponents. Chemical warfare. Greek fire. This incendiary weapon, used effectively by Byzantine and Islamic forces, influenced European attempts to develop similar substances. Poisoned wells. Both sides employed scorched earth tactics, including poisoning water supplies, to weaken enemy armies. 8. Legacy of the Crusades on European military technology. Cultural exchange and innovation. Cross-pollination of ideas. The Crusades acted as a conduit for the exchange of military ideas and technologies between Europe, the Byzantine Empire, and the Islamic world. Renaissance of military engineering. The influx of knowledge from the Crusades contributed to the military renaissance of the 13th and 14th centuries, culminating in the advanced fortifications and artillery of the late medieval period. Foundations for modern warfare. Integration of technology and strategy. The lessons of the Crusades, particularly the emphasis on siegecraft, naval power, and combined arms, laid the groundwork for the military revolutions of the early modern period. Professionalization of armies. The experience of prolonged campaigns during the Crusades influenced the shift toward standing armies and permanent military institutions in Europe. Conclusion. A transformative chapter in military history. The Crusades were a transformative period in the history of European military technology. The challenges of fighting in unfamiliar terrain against well-organized and technologically advanced opponents forced crusaders to innovate and adapt. The resulting advancements in siegecraft, fortification design, naval strategy, and weaponry reshaped the way wars were fought in Europe and beyond. By acting as a bridge between Eastern and Western military traditions, the Crusades not only enriched European warfare but also fostered a spirit of technological experimentation that would shape the